right, here we go. My name's Justin. Welcome to Fast Entrepreneur. Let's make it quick. We're going to talk about crypto, the crypto crash over the last few weeks, and then we're going to get into what we might want to do moving forward. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Let's get into it. Let's first talk about the crash, guys. So, the crash has been brutal. I mean, if you've looked at some of the even top coins are 50% plus down. Some of the altcoins, it seems like maybe even more than that. It's basically looks like we've got a reset to where prices may have been, I don't know, 4 months ago, beginning of February, whatever you want to say. Is it a buying opportunity or is this the end? Before we get into that, let's talk about the crash. There's a lot of reasons out there. You can look into it, but I'll just mention a few. People have been talking a lot about this wick-off distribution. This one guy on YouTube, looks like he kind of got famous from this because he had a video on it. Uncomplication, I believe, is his YouTube channel. You can take a look at that. But basically, a coordinated attack by the large money, by the whales, to kind of bring these prices down in anticipation for an even greater, perhaps parabolic gain coming. So, that may be. There's also been, these are just stories, rumors, 4chan, or maybe it's, a couple people trying to squeeze out a big billionaire. Some people say they're trying to squeeze out Justin's son. If you don't know him, Tron, you could Tron, TRX, you can look it up. But I don't know if they're trying to squeeze him out or not. And then also, I think a lot of retail probably, just, what do they say, weak hands, paper hands, weak hands, water hands, whatever you want to call them. A lot of people sell, they panic sell. And specifically, I think that some margin calls got called. And I'm just going to talk about the margin call, and then we're going to move on to the second half of this video. But the margin calls, if you're not familiar with trading on margin, basically it allows anybody to trade and borrow more than they would have normally been able to trade. So, example, let's say you have $1,000 of your own money, but you want to actually trade and borrow another, say 5,000, I'll just say, right? You want 5x leverage. And so you can trade, and, it's all good if the price goes up, right? But if the price goes down, now you could find yourself in a pickle. It's called liquidation. It's basically where these exchanges will have to sell off your positions at a not so advantageous price for you, so they can recoup and minimize their risk. When that happens, it can set a cascade where some margin calls get liquidated, which brings prices further, which liquidates other margin calls, etc. So I'll leave it up to you to, it could be a number of these factors and maybe even more. But the real deal is this a buying opportunity? I mean, we're right back to where we were 4 months ago, basically, with prices. And if you've got some white powder, if you've got some cash on the side, is this something that maybe you want to start looking to get into? Well, I guess it all depends on, do you think the bull market is over? In my opinion, I don't think the bull market is over. Not yet. And so I would say, just looking at a lot of other indicators, this may have just been a correction that we need. When we've looked at the last two cycles, right, 2017, 2013, one of those cycles actually did have two peaks, right? They hit a top, they came down, they went back up again. So, yeah. Now, and if that's the case, then these are some discount bargain prices. The market has kind of shown us what is possible for some of these projects, and perhaps if we go parabolic, again, maybe we'll reach those previous local highs, all-time highs, and go even further. Maybe we'll end with a bang, a parabolic, upswing, maybe a few corrections along the way. But, it's really, listen, it's up to you and how you got to manage your risk. That's why you got to be smart. This is obviously a speculative asset class in general, so take heed, but big gains can be made. So if I were going to look at this, what I'm also noticing is if I were going to buy into this market, you can see that the steadier, right? We're just going to assume the bull market is continuing. Okay, that's the assumption that we'll go with for now. You can see some of these larger altcoins, right? I'm talking like the Cardanos, the Polkadots. They've come down about 50%-ish. But there are other coins that have come down even further. And so if you find, obviously there's risk and reward. If the market does bounce back, you probably expect things like ADA and Cardano. No, they're the same thing. What the heck am I talking about? ADA and Polkadot, and coins like this to come back. But the gains may not be as great as some of these other altcoins that, maybe, tanked big time. I mean, like some great projects that I've been, that I am in, like Hathor, for instance. Hathor is down to, 30, 35 cents today. And, I think at its height it was up to, what, $1.50, $1.80. So, that's already, if it were just to go back to where it was, that's a 600% gain. I'm not saying this stuff's going to happen, but I'm just saying, I mean, if there is a big come up, a big pickup on this market, perhaps the bigger gains will be made in the altcoins, and if they come back, and as we have seen, usually the liquidity tends to flow from the top 10 coins down the page, right? We're talking about CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and so on. So, in terms of, buying, when do you buy, when do you not? Obviously dollar cost averaging, right? It's always good to do when you're buying in, and it's good to do when you're cashing out, because you never really know what the market's going to do. But I also will say there are technical indicators that you can look at. I personally use TradingView. You can get it for free. You can get like three indicators actually for free to try out. And some of the good indicators that I like to look at are like stochastic RSI. I've got another one that looks very much tracks similar patterns to like Market Cipher, which is heavily used by a lot of people in crypto. It makes it pretty simple. And so you can go and do that too. You can look at the hourly chart, you can look at the daily charts. And if you're into technical analysis, you can go into that, or you can just watch some of the YouTubers. You can actually read other people's views, or opinions. Find traders that you like, say on TradingView, but that's up to you. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, I guess it's really up to you. This could be the time to get your ducks in a row. Find out what kind of positions, prices that you might want to be targeting. And, but hey, maybe you have already seen your position. Basically, maybe you're already losing money, and you just want to, you're hodling this, and you don't have, more money that you want to be putting in the market. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But this might be a good place to find some pretty good projects, and we'll go from there. So how long are we going to trade sideways or trade around this area? Will Bitcoin go down a little bit further, right? Bitcoin leads the land. We're going to go down to 25K, or we're going to go even further down. These are things that you got to take into account. But what do they say when there's blood in the street, right? When the market is down and everybody's fearful, it's usually sometimes those are the best buying opportunities. But again, this is all based on the assumption that the bull market is still going to go strong. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. We'll talk shortly, but for now, that's about it. Now's just the time to kind of get prepared and figure out what your strategy is going to be, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, peace.